Hi, it's Margaret, and thank you so much for joining me here on the Gardening Me. Today, I thought I would give a little tour of all the seedlings that I have under the grow lights. I'm actually just about to start moving a few things out and starting to harden them off this week. So before I did that, I figured it was a great time to just kind of see what I had growing, and there is a lot. I turned the grow lights off because they just cast this really weird kind of fluorescent-y, I mean, there's a reason, I guess, why they call it fluorescent. And it really casts a strange color on everything. So hopefully this is going to work out okay. I do have some lights kind of shining into this area, so let's get started, I guess. And why not start firstly with the Coleus that I started from seed in a video not that long ago. There's the Sun Coral Candy. And the Colocha Sunset is all of the ones back there except for this one here. And this one is something pineapple. Wizard pineapple, pineapple wizard, something like that. And that one actually is an old packet of seed I had. I think it was 5 or 6 years old, and I just tossed all of the seeds into the container and I got one. Now I have potted them up into large 4-cell packs. I'll just kind of grab one here and sow into this kind of thing. So one seedling per cell. And yeah, I also had sown, which was not part of the video, this blend that I got from a friend of mine. And so I picked out a bunch of different ones that came up from the blend and also sowed those and potted them up. And there they are, doing really, really well. Next is some Scabiosa. This is Starflower. This is the first time I'm growing this, and that's actually a bit of a recurring theme here because a lot of these flowers, especially the perennials, I've never grown from seed before. So this year has been very much a learning experience on a lot of that. So this one is not a perennial, it is an annual, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's also gorgeous as a dried flower. So I was really excited to grow those, and I had awesome germination, and they're doing really, really well. Next is Ageratum, and I have 2 cell packs of that. These are just starting to come up. I sowed them maybe a week or so ago, and yeah, so they're looking really good. I have 2 varieties here, one called Red Flint and another called Blue Planet. So I do have a lot of germination in there. I'm not sure whether I'm going to thin them out and leave them in the 6 cell packs or whether I will let them get a little bit bigger and transplant them. So it all depends on, I guess, space that I have under the lights as well. So back here, a lot of things that I've never grown before. Well, firstly, one thing that I have, and back here, this is milkweed, and it is swamp milkweed, and this one is called Soulmate. It is a beautiful pink variety. Very, very pretty. Next up is Eucalyptus, and it is my first time growing this, and they are looking amazing. Look at that. They have been potted up. So I did have one in this cell here that bit the dust. But I have another one here. I had one here as well that bit the dust. I don't know. I guess these were the weaker ones. I potted everything up that I had, and there were a couple of weaklings that didn't make it, but that's okay. Next to the Eucalyptus, I am trying to grow Perovskia, which is Russian sage, from seed. Super excited about this one. This is a compact variety of Russian sage called Bluezette. What I did is on the packet for that one, it didn't indicate anything about stratification. So I sowed a few seeds and I got 2 to germinate. Now, if I move up here, this is a second sowing and I did get better germination on that. This I sowed about, I don't know, a month or so after the original ones. And I did stratify these. I wanted to see if there was any difference between stratifying and not stratifying these because the packet didn't indicate that you needed to do that. So I would say, yeah, it's a good idea to do that. I definitely did get better germination. So I have 4 more that are about a month behind from the other ones. Then we have this guy. This is Lavender as well. I just potted those up a few days ago, and it's Elegance Pink. And I have this one in the garden already as a plant. I bought it as a plant. I think I have 3 of them, but I saw them as seeds somewhere. I don't know, Baker Creek maybe, or swallowtail seeds, one of those two. So when I saw the seeds, I thought I would love to try growing lavender from seed, just to experiment and see how it goes. So far, so good. This one I have grown from seed before, not these particular varieties, but the annual Salvia. And this is Summer Jewel Pink and Summer Jewel Lavender. Next, we have Lemon Bee Balm. And here, my little experiment this year involved, I had some seed that I actually saved from the plants in the garden last year, and this is ones that I grew from the packet, and they're all looking really, really good. I guess I don't have to buy seeds for them anymore because it seems like I'm gonna get some really nice plants from the seeds that I saved. So back here we have Bergamo Monarda. I did grow this last year for the first time. It did really well. So we have, not bad germination on that one. Next is some Scabiosa. We have, Salmon Queen and Summer Fruits. I grew this last year and quite liked it, and those are doing really well. And beside that is a perennial salvia called Sky Dance. And I have to say, with the perennial salvias, I have not had an easy time of it in terms of getting them to get going. And nowhere did I see any reference to stratifying these, so I didn't do that. But I'm actually thinking that the grow light I had them under, it was under T5s, and it may have been a little too warm for them. I'm really not sure. I do have a couple more cell packs of salvias, the perennial ones, going. We'll get to those in a bit. Here is something else I've never grown before. It is called Sweet Annie, and this one makes a really good filler. I don't know anything about it. I saw it on, I think, the Swallowtail Seeds website, and I thought I would give it a try. As you can see, germination is not lacking on that. There's a lot of germination in there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I'm thinking I might thin them to maybe 4 per cell and let them grow a little bit more, and I guess I'll gauge whether or not to pot them up based on that and how quickly they grow. Here we have the Statice that I sowed. I don't know, got some okay germination. Considering some of these packets were super old, I'm quite happy with the germination that I got, and I am going to have to split some of these up. There's, in this particular cell, there's 3 of them. So what I might actually do is just loosen that up, dig one up, put it in the empty cell, and I think I can do that with this one as well. Here we have some Celosia, Asian Garden, and this is doing pretty well. Well, this one here is kind of a little bit floppy, but overall it's doing pretty well. This is also one that I sowed the seed for recently in a video. All the other varieties I sowed are on another shelf. Here we have some kale, and I think I sowed a little too much. I said I was going to cut back this year. Last year I think I had 9 maybe, and I think I said I was going to bring it back to 4. And I don't know what happened when I sowed these, but I ended up doing 6. So we'll see. I'll probably end up giving a couple to neighbors and just stick with the 4 on those. I'm growing 3 varieties. Starboar, which is one of those very, well, it's a curly kale, very curly. Red Ursa, which is just a regular, like leafy type of kale with more of, actually, this kind of leaf there kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like even as a mature leaf. It's more or less like that, except obviously a lot bigger. And lacinato kale, which is the dinosaur kale that we all know and love. Here is something new to me. This one is African zinnia, and I'll put the botanical name on the screen. This is one that I saw when I went to Stokes, and I'd never heard of it before, and I thought, well, I love zinnias, so it's a completely different genus than regular zinnias. I'm not exactly sure why it's called African zinnia. I'm assuming it's because it looks like a zinnia, but anyhow, so I thought I would give these a go and see what they were like. one I missed on this shelf here is this guy here, and this is cauliflower. First time growing cauliflower. I have never grown cauliflower before. I did have a packet of seeds, and actually that's one of the reasons I decided to give it a go, because my packet was several years old, and I thought, well, this is kind of silly. I bought this packet. I haven't even sown any of the seeds yet, so I'm going to sow some and give it a go this year and just see how it does. I can't recall the name. It's a purple variety of cauliflower. It's supposed to be one of the easier varieties of cauliflower to grow, so we shall see how it goes. So now we're on to the second level here. In this area here, these are all Echinacea that I just potted up, and they're all doing not too bad. So there's a few weaklings in there, but they're okay. Rudbeckia is way back there. There's Cappuccino and Prairie Sun back there. I haven't had the best luck this year with Rudbeckia for some reason. It just isn't going well, so we'll see how those do. And in front of that is Dianthus, and these are cottage pinks. This is the perennial Dianthus, not the biennial kind. And I have two varieties here, one called Spooky Mix and one called Loveliness, and I just potted them up a couple of days ago as well. Here is the very, very pitiful Echinacea from two of the varieties that I grew. We have Paradiso Mix, which I think I did actually get one good seedling from that, and Green Twister, and these are all looking awful. The Green Twister, I didn't get any really good seedlings. These are probably not going to survive. When I originally seeded all of the Echinacea in cell packs, kind of like broadcasting it, and so whichever ones came up and then grew a little bit, then I plucked out or pricked out those seedlings and potted them into these, for the larger ones, into these large 4 cell packs, and the small ones, the tiny ones here, into these. But the roots on the Green Twister especially, there was literally no root. It was this tiny little thick root. There were no like hair-like roots. And I will put a photo on the screen now of what I found when I took these seedlings out when I was potting them up, and I will give you a comparison, because when I did this guy here, Prairie Splendor, and the roots were completely different. I mean, they actually looked like normal roots. And yeah, so it was just a night and day difference between the roots. So I didn't want to just toss them, because you never know, but I'm not holding out much hope. And just to say what I have here, so we have Prairie Splendor here, there's Mellow Yellows, way back there is Paradiso Dwarf, so it's also Paradiso, but this is a dwarf variety. And then there was one kind of sickly mellow yellow that I just kind of plopped in there. We'll see how it goes. Next, we have marigolds. I'm growing a bunch of different varieties here. So we have a Queen Sophia, Orange Gem. Orange Gem is more of a ground cover type marigold, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes. Unfortunately, I didn't get the best germination from that. Only 3 came up. There's a tiny little one coming up over there, but... And then I have Colossus Gold, which I love, love, love. I grow every year. It's amazing. This is Garuda Deep Gold, and this is an All-America Selections winner that I'm trying out this year. And here, this guy here, I haven't thinned these out yet at all. This is the Kilimanjaro White, which I said I didn't really like last year, but I decided to give it another try because I'm thinking it was behind a big old tomato plant, and I'm thinking it was quite shaded, so I decided I'll give it one more go to see how I like it, and I'm probably going to end up putting it in the actual garden beds, and I might put a couple in the raised beds. This is Gomphrena, and this is Scabiosa mixed. I have a few different varieties here further down in the shelf, so they're doing good. There's more of the lavender. I didn't want to put it in a 4-cell pack because I only had these 2, so I just used the 2.5-inch pots there. Back there are the pepper seedlings that I have. I'm growing a few different varieties, primarily sweet peppers with a couple of hot peppers thrown in there. I have thinned out the peppers, so I am left with 1 per pot, and I will probably be potting them up this week is what I'm thinking. In front of them are the little seedlings here. These are parsley seedlings. This is just a flat leaf parsley. It's, I believe the variety is Gigante. And in front of that are all my Hollyhocks seedlings. And they're doing really, really well. So I'm quite happy with all of them. Oh, we have one more coming up. We have Majorette Double down here. This one here is Watchman, and then this one here is the Creme de Cassis. And these as well, I will be potting those up at some point this week, I'm thinking. And back here we have more Gomphrena, way back there. And let me just see if I can pull this out a little bit. There we go. So we have more Gomphrena back there, and that we have Salmon Pastel and an orange one and an Audrey White Gomphrena. So here's the Paradiso Mix Echinacea seedling that did kind of look like it was doing something other than just sitting there with like half a root on it. So that one hopefully will continue to grow. Back here, this is a Black-Eyed Susan. Black-Eyed Susans prefer darkness to germinate, so the other pots that I have a few other pots with Black-Eyed Susans. They're on a heat mat, but with a towel over top until they come up, and as soon as they come up, I put them here. And here is a Salvador Blue Salvia, and again, this is one of the ones that nothing happened in any of the cells except I had one seedling in one cell. So I potted that one up, and I'm going to be trying again, and hopefully the second seeding does better. So down here are my onion seedlings. These are going to be hardening off this week, and then they will be going into the ground in about a week and a half, something like that. I have a few varieties this year. I think I have 7 varieties of onions. Most of them are storage onions. There's a couple that are more of the larger, sweeter type onions, but they're mainly storage onions, and they're kind of a mix between red and yellow storage onions. There is another full set of shelves to go through, and I will do that in part 2 of what I have growing under the grow lights in mid-April. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!